Hey you guys, happy Friday. Okay, I just got out of the shower and I need to be at my hair appointment in like 25 minutes. So I have to show you, I have next to my medicine jar here, I have all these books that I have to figure out which ones I'm gonna read for the Emoji-a-thon because I have to make my thing today. My Emoji-a-thon TBR, but I wanted to read something first. I was thinking about this when I was in the shower because you guys know I'm trying to I'm gonna start doing something that I used to do when I worked in treatment with the kids. And every morning we would read this poem, and it's called "This is the Beginning of a New Day." I read it on here before, but I wanted to read it this morning to remind myself. I don't know why I'm like out of breath. This is the beginning of a new day. You have been given this day to use as you will. You can waste it or you can use it for good. What you do today is important because you're exchanging a day of your life for it. When tomorrow comes, this day will be gone forever. In its place is something that you have left behind. Let it be something good. Oh no, that's not the one. Oh, here it is. It says, I'm going to copy this. Okay, this is the beginning of a new day. God has given me this day to use as I will. I can waste it or use it for good. What I do today is important because I am exchanging a day of my life for it. When tomorrow comes, this day will be gone forever, leaving in its place something that I have traded for it. I want it to be gain, not loss, good, not evil, success, not failure, in order that I shall not regret the price I paid for it. And it's really about living in the day and, you know, making the most of today. And I made this list yesterday and I crossed off one thing and then never came back to my list. And I was kind of, you know, I'm a list follower and whatever, and so I have to do those things. But I was like, and when I worked in treatment, we would have the kids make 3 goals for their morning. And then at night on community, we would see if they had achieved their goals. And so I was like, you know, I think I'm going to start doing that on my channel. And then it'll be a form of accountability, hoping that I get, like, when I get up, I start filming these. But my 3 goals for today: stick to my list, write some of my book, and enjoy the readathon. Because I sometimes stress myself out of doing things that are fun and I feel like I have to. Do you guys ever do that? Like, you like have this picnic you're going to and you're real excited about going to, but you're like, but the food has to be just right and this has to be just right, and do we have the chairs, and blah, 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 and then you stress out and it's like not even any fun going to it? Well, that's stupid. Then you shouldn't be going to it, right? Because we should only be, like, we should not be stressing about fun things. We should be enjoying those things. There's enough in life to stress out about that we don't have to stress out about the fun things. So you guys, I just fill up these bottles. I literally buy a new one every day, but anyway. All right, well, I'm going to get off here so I can get to my hair appointment, and I'll probably film as soon as I get out of there. Bye. In the middle of the night. It's 2 o'clock. And I went to Meijer with Tanya. She did buy a bunch of groceries. She left her chocolate milk in my car. Tanya Jane. I haven't vlogged at all today, which is okay, because I'm not going to make this vlog long, because my one from yesterday was 2 parts. So if you watched it, thank you. That means the world to me. The reason that I made it 2 parts was because I had so much footage that it went over an hour. It went like an hour and 12 minutes. But there was really no part of it for me looking back on it at some point. Like the part with the dogs, like I want to have that on there, you know? Like the part with Tanya in the kitchen, I want to have that on there, like that I can look back and watch it at some point, you know? So I was just like, I'm going to make 2 parts of this today. And I might do that in the future if it's too long, or I might edit parts out or whatever, but tonight's will be shorter because I don't have tons to talk about. I think actually the last time I vlogged was going to the hair salon, so I got my hair cut, and then I went into my office. I don't actually remember when the last time I vlogged was today. It was beautiful today, all day. then I went into my office and I wrote for a while. And then I was like, well, I want to make a video, and I wasn't going to do an eating show. I actually had an idea for something else that I was going to do at home. But I was hungry, and Alex didn't get off work till 8 tonight. So I was like, I think I'm just going to do an eating show because I wanted to try something new. And there was this Mexican restaurant that's like, literally, like I walk out my door and it's probably 20 paces from my office. I think it's called La Poblano Cantina or something like that. But it gets voted like best tacos in Indianapolis every year. And they're $3 tacos and they're fantastic. I had them today. And they also sell that bubble tea, of which I have wanted like crazy. I wanted to try that bubble tea so bad. And I go watch my mukbang. I did an eating show and I showed the bubble tea. But if you have not had that bubble tea, find someplace in your area where they serve it. And go take your kids, or your grandkids or whatever. It was funny tonight. Somebody they tweeted me or something. They said, like, I'm a parent and I'm 37. I'm at home, stay-at-home mom. I'm probably not your target audience. I was like, that is exactly my target. I mean, I don't really know who my target audience is, but probably people just like me, I would think, that relate to my life. And I said that back. I said, no, I relate to you. You're my target audience because I relate to you. Anyway, so I went and I got that bubble tea. That bubble tea is fantastic. Like, I really thought it would be kind of cheesy, trendy kind of thing. It's fantastic, you guys. Like, it's really good. Like, I was really surprised, and it's so much fun. Like, I would definitely go back and get more. So, and then I did that eating show, and then I went home and I started uploading videos. For some reason, they're taking forever to upload, which is why I'm uploading them late. And let's see. Then what did I do? Then, Alex was going to come home and we were going to watch a movie, and I didn't feel well. My throat's been really hurting me on this side. I don't know if like I have a sinus infection or whatever. I think I need to get an antibiotic maybe. Because I don't think it's my tooth. I think it's like I have a sinus infection because it's like down here. It almost feels like my lymph node, except for that my lymph node is not big. Like at all. I don't know. But, so he was going to go downtown and have drinks with the girl that he works with on Wednesday because he went over to his brother's last night, or his mother's last night. And everybody asked, like, what about Alex and the tattoo? So they didn't end up getting the tattoo. They backed out of the tattoo and didn't end up getting it. They just went over there and so yeah. And I was going to go, but by the time that I was heading down there, he was coming home. So tonight he went out with his friend and they went and had drinks downtown. And he asked me if I wanted to come, and I said, no, I want to do a live stream. And so that's that. And we planned a date night for this weekend. We're going to go see Dance Kaleidoscope on Saturday night and go eat somewhere. So we're going to have a cute little date night on Saturday. We're getting really excited about our trip to Mexico. I'm so excited. And my passport came in the mail today. I couldn't believe it. Literally door to door, a week and 2 days. Door to door. I could not believe it, how quick it came. Can you guys believe that? So if you ever need to get a passport, you need to get it expedited, and it's a renewal. It literally takes a week and a half. What else? Oh, and then, okay, so I did my live stream, and then Alex was on his way home, and I was going to the grocery store with Tanya because she has a wedding this weekend, and she had to buy a bunch of stuff for the house. And so I was going to film us going to Meyer, and I got to Tanya's house and I had forgotten my camera. And Tanya lives like 15 minutes away from me, so it would have been like too much trouble for me to go get my camera. So I called Alex and I was like, babe, can you leave my camera out on the porch, and I'll come back and get it afterwards so I can do my vlog. And he just laughed. He was like, vlog with your phone. I was like, no, that's too confusing for me. I'll just come back and get it. So I did. I just went back and got it. Tanya and I went to Meyer, and we were there for about a half an hour and rode around and talked for a little bit. And I've got 2 episodes left of The Keepers, which I'm going to go home and watch and go to bed. I'm also doing 2 readathons right now. So, the other thing is I've been reading all day about that. So, through that. I'm doing Emoji-a-thon, and I'm doing the Sci-Fi Summer Readathon, and which is different for me because I don't read a lot of sci-fi, but horror and fantasy kind of fit into that genre, they said. So I'm actually reading I'm listening to Waking Gods by Sylvain Neuvel, which is definitely science fiction. It's about aliens. And I'm listening to that on Audible. The first one, Sleeping Giants, was one of the best books I read last year, and I listened to it on Audible. So if you're looking for an Audible listen, go get Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. And if you've read it, the sequel, Waking Gods, is out. So, and they're not like science fiction for science fiction lovers or science fiction. I mean, they are, but they're like science fiction for the layman that doesn't really read a lot of science fiction. I actually got it through the Book of the Month Club, which I love their choices, but I think they're expensive, so I don't do the Book of the Month Club anymore. And let's see what else. Oh, I don't know. I wish I was famous. I wish I had my own reality show. It was funny tonight because all these people on my YouNow stream were telling me that Meg Maley, so she was on Big Brother. Do you guys remember Meg from New York? I think she was a bartender before she got on Big Brother, but I could be wrong. The short blonde hair, she's real cute, hilarious. So she tweeted out that NBC was looking for funny duos to do commentary on pop culture on a new show. And everybody was like, oh, you and Tanya should do it. You and Tanya should do it. And I was like, oh my God, that would be so fantastic. And so I tweeted, and so I looked and she tweeted it out, and she was like, DM me if you're interested. So all these people from my live stream went and DM'd her and said, oh my God, you need Peter Monn and his friend Tanya. So if you guys want to do that, it's Megan Maley, Megan, Meganmaley, and just go to her Twitter, and then you'll see the tweet. It's from yesterday where she said that, and then you can just direct message her. And then maybe I'll become famous. Or if you know a better duo, I recommend them. But wouldn't that be so funny? I'm ready for a reality show. I'm ready for something to get excited about. Somebody said to me, well, really, what would be your pitch? They said this to me earlier today. Do you ever have those people in your life that you're like, why do I tolerate you? And this guy said to me, he's like, now really, well, what would be your pitch? And I said, do you watch reality TV? And he was like, yeah, some. And I was like, well, what do you watch? Survivor. I go, okay, well, it won't really make a whole lot of sense to you. And he goes, well, what do you mean? And I go, well, there's some Real Housewives every season. There's Vanderpump Rules. There's all these shows like that. The Abbey's coming out. Whatever. They just did Fire Island on Logo about this group of gay friends and whatever. There was the A-List, which were the gay guys and all this kind of stuff. I said, but there's never really been a show just about this gay guy and his best friend, or he and his husband, and going to dinner, going out of town, going to Mexico, doing all this kind of stuff. Just a normal gay guy in the Midwest that just happens to be the most fantastic YouTuber in the world, who is also an author. And I think it makes for an interesting show. And and it would be funny, and I think it would be relatable, because I think so many people out there do the things that I do. They do go to eat at Bob Evans and Denny's, and go out with their friends once in a blue moon, and go to Meijer and Walmart, and plan trips with their family. I mean, I think it is relatable. I think my life would show that gay guys are not really a whole lot different than anybody else out there, And, I mean, how many of you out there have that best Judy that you go do shit with, or that you see every once in a blue moon, and hang out at her house and watch Real Housewives and eat a turkey sandwich? I mean, I think that's relatable. And I think that I could do it in a way that would be entertaining and fun. And I would really like to show and represent suburban America, which is what I think the majority of probably the people that watch my channel are. And that's what I am, just rural suburban America. And not where it's like Honey Boo Boo and her mom, and you know, I think that's great that June lost all that weight. I think that's an interesting show, but there always has to be like some spin, you know, like Little People Big World. I used to watch that, and it was because they were, you know, little, that everybody was interested in it, or My 900-Pound Life, or, you know, all these shows always have to have some like shtick to it. Well, why not just this? I guess my shtick would be that I was gay, but like, is that really a shtick in 2017? But like, why not just this like normal guy and his best friend in their lives? You know what I mean? Like, I think it would be so relatable. And I think, you know, I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't be. Maybe it'd be the most boring show in the entire world. I would also like one of my books to become a movie. That's another big like pipe dream that I have. At some point in my life. But maybe not my first book that I wrote. Like, I don't know that I can really see it being a movie. Because as much as I loved it, it wasn't as developed as I would have liked it to be. My next two books could definitely be movies. If they come out the way that I want them to. And especially my book about women. So many people, since I talked about that trash idea on here, and Dustin Daly said that I should write that book. Like, so many people are intrigued by that book, where the girl's found in a trash bag on the side of the road, and then it's like, how did she end up there? I don't know, maybe I will tell that story. Maybe I will write that. Tell that story. I don't know that story. I don't know her. But like, I get ideas from just like driving around at night, you know, and just listening to audiobooks and stuff. And really the way that idea came was two ways. Was that, number one, there is a house by us that I know this woman lives in. I never see her come. I never see her go. Her, like, old station wagon, not old, but it's, you know, it's in the driveway. And there are, like, always, like, weeds. And the yard is, like, I mean, like, maybe once a summer she cuts her yard and trims stuff up and cleans it up, right? I've never seen her. And, I mean, she's not, like, right next to us. She's, like, down the street and over, a couple streets over. But anyway. But I was driving by there one Christmas, and through all the weeds and the foot of snow that we had, she had these Christmas lights up, right? And I started getting this idea of, like, this girl that goes missing with her single mother, who's very hardworking and, like, has just done everything in her life for her mother. And the girl goes missing, and the mom will never take down the Christmas decorations because she's like it's right before Christmas or something like that. And so she doesn't want to take down the Christmas tree and the Christmas decorations, and so she leaves them up, even in like June. And then I was driving. Where was I when I got lost? Because I totally panicked. And I tried to call Alex. It was late one night. I can't remember where I was going. I think one night I went to... So there's another casino in Indianapolis, south of Indianapolis, that I never go to. It's called Indiana Live. And it's in Shelbyville, and it was a detour, and I got detoured off into this country road, and I just kept on following cars. Well, after a while, I mean, this road just went forever and ever and ever, and I thought, okay, well, I was on, like, I had been on, like, 74, which is an interstate, and I was like, okay, eventually it'll hit 65, which was, like, the next interstate. And you know, I was following like 6 cars, and we were going all through the country. I mean, it was very spooky. It was the middle of the night. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was trying to find my way home. And so one car turned off. And then, you know, another 5 miles, another car turned off. And then it was all of a sudden just me and one other car who ended up pulling into this driveway of their house. And so it's just me out in the middle of the country. And I had no clue where I was or how to get there and what I was doing. Like, I was terrified, right? And it was very spooky. And I remember I was like, I think I was listening to an audiobook that was kind of scary. And it was like a mystery or something. And so, of course, my head started rolling. And I remember I saw the interstate, 65 south and north, and I came up on it, and I was like, oh my God, thank God, here's the interstate. And the road went over the interstate, but there was like no exit. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like when the interstate just goes over the exit. And I was like, oh my God. Well, right off the interstate was this road that like paralleled the interstate. And so I backed up, like I turned around and I came back because I thought, well, maybe if I go down this road. And I remember I went down this road and it was like a dead end. And at the end of this dead end, there was like one house, but like nothing except for just field before it. And I was like creeping along really like slow because I was like trying to figure out where I was going, and this sketch house was at the end of it. It was so terrifying. And like halfway next to this field was just dumped this big black trash bag that looked filled to the brim. And I don't know what happened, but somewhere in my head I was like, there's a body in that trash bag. I don't know what I thought, but anyway, that's the idea of where the whole idea of trash came from. And then like, so if this girl, very Twin Peaks-ish to some degree, if this girl ended up in this trash bag on the side of the road, like what got her there? You know, that would be the story. And the story was going to be told from the point of view of this girl that was like 15, who actually, this girl that was now 20 had been her babysitter when she was younger, like for a whole summer while her mom worked. And so she had a connection to this girl, and she had to find out what happened to her. And so it was her and her best friend, this guy, that were going to go and like find out like this mystery. And so that was the story of Trash. And I really never thought much about it. I actually have a notebook where I like write down all my ideas and outline them and put character names and stuff. And I have something, you guys, it's ridiculous how many book ideas I have in there now. I think it's up to something like 60, 65, something like that. And that's just one of them. You know, I have so many ideas. I have this idea, I wanted to write this book called God Bless You, Tamika Watkins, wherever you are. And it was going to be about this little girl, and when she, it was going to be about a gay guy. And when he was like 6, he became friends with this girl in his class whose name was Tamika Watkins. And they became like best friends. And she, on Halloween, wore this Wonder Woman costume. Now, I've talked on here before about how I always wanted to be Wonder Woman, right, when I was growing up. And he was Spider-Man, and he always wanted to be Wonder Woman, but his parents said that he couldn't, his stepdad said he couldn't be Wonder Woman. So, he, became really good friends with her, and people made fun of her and people made fun of him, and so they became like this unlikely duo that became best friends. And so on Halloween they were riding around, they were riding home from school, and they were going to trick or treat, and they split up at the end of the street. But after school she said to him, if you want my Wonder Woman costume, you can have it, and I'll trade you for my Spider-Man outfit. So they traded outfits so that he could be Wonder Woman. And so they drove down, they like rode around with him being Wonder Woman and her being Spider-Man, and then they put their costumes back on again. And then she said, okay, let's meet back here at such and such time. Well, she went missing and was kidnapped. And so it would be this guy's story from like 6 to 10 to, you know, 15 to 20, and all of these things that had happened in his life. This would be part 1 of how he had grown up and matured, and like things that happened to him, but it would all be told in letters that he would sign at the end, God bless you, Tamika Watkins, wherever you are, because this simple lesson that she taught him of giving and being, you can be whoever you want, is something that he had learned in life and he had applied. And, you know, through being bullied and his first love and his first kiss, and he tells her all about this in these letters. Well, and in part 2, they find Tamika Watkins. And that is, and his coming to terms with what what that's about. And like, I don't want to say anything more than that, because that's a book that I really do want to write. I'm very intrigued by kidnappings. I don't know why. I love kidnapping stories and books. And that one book that was by that, was it JC? What was her name? That book was just, I mean, oh my God. But I think it doesn't just affect the person that is kidnapped. It affects all of the people around them in such strange ways. I mean, can you imagine if your child was kidnapped tomorrow? I was driving down the street the other day, because, you know, these ideas loom in my head. They don't go places, you know? I was actually just watching this, do you guys watch Johnny McGovern? Hey Queen, I love him so much. Could you get me on his show, please? I'm not famous enough at all. Peter, you're not famous at all, I know. But I love Johnny McGovern. If I ever got to be on his show, I would die. And he does that, look at her! And he, like, has these famous people on there. And he had James St. James, who is part of the Club Kid scene, and Michael Alig, and, you know, he had James St. James, but not Michael Alig. But anyway, James St. James is the one that wrote the book they ended up making Party Monster after. And so, Look at Her, they, like, flash pictures of people, and they ask him, like, what do you think about this person? And he was talking about, like, Matthew Anderson, who's a makeup designer, and, like, Amanda Lepore, and all these people, and he was, like, talking about creative genius and, like, artistic genius, and that it just keeps on going and going, and you can't, like, really stop it. And I sometimes feel like that, but I don't know what to do with it, other than just pump out books, and I'm really not that dedicated. I wish I was. I wish I could just sit down and just write, and you guys are probably like, my God, Peter, you do 5 to 6 videos a day, you do write every day. I mean, how much more do you want to do? I want to do it all. Like, life is short. I want to do it all. I want to have these books out there. There are so many books I want to tell, you know, like another book that I started years ago, and I actually contacted Ellen Hopkins, the writer, about this, because we interviewed her, and she responded. She said, I think it's a great idea. You're obviously pulled to young adult. And it's this story about these two sisters, and their mother's a stripper. I think I've told this story actually on here before. And they live in a trailer park, and it's 4th of July weekend, and all the families are, like, leaving, and they're very, very poor, and they know they're very, very poor. People make fun of them for it, but the little sister is, like, 6 or 7, and the older sister is, like, 15, and she has a crush on this boy who she sees, like, diving into this city pool, and she can't, and she's, like, separated in this world. But anyway, so it's kind of like 48 hours of their life over 4th of July weekend, and it all starts with them sitting on the curb at the gas station watching all these families leave. And so what happens is their mother is a heroin addict, and she overdoses and she dies, and they don't know what to do with her. And so they basically just leave her in this trailer over a 2 or 3 day period where she continues just to rot in this, like, really hot, and she's 15 and she doesn't know what to do, and she's terrified, you know, and it's just this moment in time for her of what happens. And it's actually a book that's really dear to my heart. I've written a lot of it, and it comes from my short story that I talked about last night called The Flock. It comes from that idea, because the grandmother plays a big part in it too. I don't know, it's like, I have all these ideas, and I remember when I wrote my book, Alex was like, just stick to one and write it. And the book that I wrote didn't end up being it was like not even on my radar for what I was going to write. If you read my book, the quote at the beginning of it, which is actually by his uncle Alex, based on his book Suburban Wasteland that he wrote, which is another book that I'm going to write at some point. Suburban Wasteland is really a book about a group of teenagers in the late 80s that listened to punk rock and, you know, that new age music, you know, Depeche Mode, New Order, The Cure, The Clash, The Smiths, and sexually coming of age and figuring out who they were, and it's about this gay kid in the center of all of it, told from his point of view. But anyway, so that quote actually comes from a book that I started called The Gay Boy Diaries, about me being in high school, and my publisher was like, I think that maybe you need to look for a different title. I wish I had not titled my book something so long. And she was like, I think you're going to isolate yourself with that title, and I think she was right. But that is another book that I want to tell at some point, you know? Like, so that book came from that. It came, my best friend in high school saying to me, I think you should write the story of us, of how it all started, and, you know, your crush on the very first guy ever. And so I just did. I thought, you know, like, that's a story I can tell. But it wasn't the story that my heart and soul felt to tell. So my commitment this summer is to sit my ass down and get some real work done writing. But I've had a great summer. June 1st has been a wonderful day. I was thinking I want to get a notebook, like a big journal, and then I want to write down there every day, like, what I did. Like, went to Meyer with Tanya and rode around and listened to music, because I did that, and did a live stream, and all the good things for every day this summer. I want to do that. So I can look back and be like, date night with Alex, went and saw Dance Kaleidoscope and took little dancing figures and stuff. And yeah, so I'll be able to look back on that, you know? But I have this, and this is a lot too. I love vlogging. It's really fun, and I love that so many people tell me that they love listening to it before they go to bed, that it's relaxing for them. It makes me so happy. I can't even tell you how happy that makes me. That I get to be part of your life and you get to be part of mine. It's just really actually very cool, you know? All right, you guys, well, I'm gonna get off here and listen to my audiobook, and I will see you tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful day, and do something really cool today for yourself. Treat yourself today. It can be small, it can be big, whatever, but treat yourself to something cool today. I'm gonna do the same thing. All right, bye.